Have you ever thought to yourself, "Self, what I really need right now is a quick and efficient way to fill my life with misery and strife"? If you have, one sin that will quickly give you what you're looking for is adultery. I'll explain. You see, when God created the human race, He embedded within each of us a powerful desire for companionship. We're designed to want a close personal relationship with someone who understands us at our deepest levels, someone who still loves us and relates to us when all the walls are down and the facades are removed. But that kind of relationship, the marriage relationship, requires a few things to work. It requires trust. It requires exclusivity, and it requires faithfulness. Adultery, sleeping around, cheating, infidelity, whatever you want to call it, is probably the most effective way to destroy all those vital components in one fell swoop, which is exactly why God carved out space to prohibit it with the Seventh Commandment: "You shall not commit adultery." Once broken, the sacred bond between a husband and wife is extremely difficult to repair. In fact, adultery is one of the only reasons God lists as an acceptable grounds for divorce. It causes such pain and damage that some couples are never able to move past it. And even if the relationship can be repaired, the act of infidelity leaves scars that never completely vanish. Now, polls and surveys have a hard time agreeing on the exact percentages, but data clearly shows that adultery runs rampant. For example, various studies suggest that in the United States, anywhere from 30% to 70% of all marriages experience some form of infidelity. Now, regardless of which number in that range is exact, the fact that it isn't 0% shows that adultery is a serious problem. And if you don't treat it as such, you might easily end up figuring into those percentages. Now, just as He did with the Sixth Commandment, Jesus took the time to show that breaking the Seventh Commandment begins in the heart. He warned, "Whoever looks at a woman to lust for her has already committed adultery with her in his heart." If your right eye causes you to sin, He said, pluck it out and cast it from you. For it is more profitable for you that one of your members perish than your whole body to be cast into hell. Now let me pause for a moment and be very clear. Jesus was not suggesting that the best way to deal with lust is to literally gouge out your eyeballs. His point was, especially when it comes to our marriages, that we need to defend our eyes by carefully guarding against the wrong influences. In establishing the boundaries of marriage, God placed this commandment as a protective fence around husbands and wives to guard them. When both spouses respect this fence, their marriage can blossom and grow within the safety of God's law. But when one or both spouses begin peering over that fence and entertaining ideas of what lies beyond, then even if no physical action is taken, the marriage is going to suffer. Both spouses might still physically be within the boundaries set by God, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually, their hearts are elsewhere, outside the fence. So, the best thing you can do to defend your marriage is to nurture it. Direct your attention to the things within the marital fence and devote yourself to making those better. Invest time and energy into self-improvement, learning your spouse's needs, exactly how he or she particularly needs to be loved. And then practice. Work on developing greater amounts of patience, understanding, empathy, and compassion. Because if you strive to see your spouse as the precious treasure that God sees, you might just find that there really isn't anything worth looking for outside of your marriage. The Eighth Commandment teaches us about respect for our fellow human beings. To learn more, click Next to continue watching this series. For further reading, you can also download our free booklet, God's 10 Commandments, Still Relevant Today.